Have you ever had a boss who was a hypocrite? Somebody had told you to do that and then did the opposite, and that was okay? Or have you ever been called a hypocrite? Let's face it, we've all been inconsistent. We've all been called out once or twice or more times. This happens because people are watching us all the time, at work and at home. So today I'm breaking down how to be more consistent and more confident in the way you show up as a leader and as a person. Welcome to Coffee with John, where I give you the tips I've been teaching CEOs and other leaders over the past 20 years on communication, leadership, and habits over coffee. We humans are tribal people. As much as we want to think of ourselves as individuals, we have an innate need to run with the pack. We follow leaders. We are constantly watching their words and their actions. And we're hardwired from a very early age to detect inconsistency in behavior. Kids will call us out no matter what. In one of my recent training sessions with leaders, we were talking about how we're all so distracted all the time. And one high-powered sales leader, let's call him Ryan, told this story about his family. Ryan and his wife have two small girls. At the time, they were ages 2 and 4. And he admitted that he was always compulsive about his phone use. He was like getting on the calls all the time. He was getting lots of calls at night from his team and his boss, and he'd jump up from the dinner table and run in the other room. Ryan said his wife hated it. She had lost her father at a very early age, and she really feels strongly that you should be cherishing the special moments of family life. And they would get in arguments about this in front of the girls. She told Ryan, "You always say you put family first, but you obviously put your business first." And she kept telling Ryan to put away his phone while he's at home and pay attention to the girls, because she reminded him they'll be gone in the blink of an eye. One day he was out by himself with his little girls for ice cream, and he said that while he was licking his cone, he just kind of by habit grabbed his phone, and he heard the sound like, "Hey, Daddy, Daddy." I'm like, "What?" And he looked over and his 4-year-old was looking at him. He said, "What?" And she said, "Daddy, put away your phone. We'll be gone when you blink your eyes." He said he teared up because the words cut to his heart, and he realized he was being watched and he wasn't living up to what he said were his values. After that day, Ryan said he set new boundaries with his team and with his boss. And he started a practice of grabbing his phone, whether he was working at home or outside, and just putting it in a drawer near the front door before dinner. And he wouldn't check the phone again until the girls were in bed. He knew his girls were watching, and he wanted to show up as a present and loving father. He said it was life-changing for him and his family. Ryan said an unexpected benefit was it reduced his own anxiety, and it helped his team because they realized it was okay to have limits on their phone use as well. This is an important lesson for all of us. People are always watching us. They watch how you think, they watch how you act, they watch how you communicate. We are constantly looking for cues on how we should act and where we stand in the tribe. We monitor moods. We try to predict emotional responses. Over the years, as your team grows from 5 to 50 to 500, you come under more scrutiny. Not only more people watching you, but they observe you more closely and more intensely. They're judging your character, your words, and your behavior. This can be positive or negative. On the positive side, you can have a huge impact on the people all around you. On the challenging side, you have a responsibility to show up consistently or be called out for not walking your talk. So here are 3 tips to help you show up as a leader and as a person in a clear and consistent way. Number 1, develop your personal brand. We all have a personal brand, whether we manage it or not. People think of us in a certain way. If you want to shape how people think of you, you should take time to think clearly about who you are and what you stand for. To help my clients figure this out, I use an exercise that is pretty detailed. But for you, I'd say, choose 3 adjectives you'd like people to use to describe you. I'd urge you to write a list of 10 to 15 words you think might be how you want people to think of you. Maybe words like strong, confident, friendly, driven, sincere. Whatever you think applies to you. Then write a short sentence next to each word of why it would apply to you. Then start narrowing that list down until you have 3 words that seem to really describe you. This brings me to my second tip. Live into your brand. When you've developed a clear idea of how you want people to perceive you, it's important to live into your brand. Be committed. For example, let's say you want people to think of you as confident, open-minded, empathetic. This means changing your thinking, your behavior, and your communication to align with how you want people to understand you. Let's take the word empathetic. You'll want to start being a better listener. You want to put more focus on other people than on yourself. You want to express empathy and understanding in your words and your actions. It will take some time, but after a while, people will start to see you as empathetic. They'll respond to you in a whole new way. Which brings us to point number 3, walk your talk. By this, I mean be consistent in your communication and your behavior. Years ago, I worked with a CEO who was leading a deep cost-cutting drive all around the company, and he kept saying, save paper, don't eat during meetings, pennies add up to dollars. But then at a town hall meeting, an employee asked, was it true the CEO was using the company plane to fly to his vacation home across the country when he was telling everybody else that they should be cutting expenses? The CEO tried to defend his behavior. He explained that the board had granted him compensation that included use of the plane a few times a year. And he was caught in this net. He was twisting and turning, but he couldn't get out of it because he wasn't walking his talk, and he was being called out for it. Human beings are capable of rationalizing anything we think or do, so having the perspective and accountability of other people is really good for us. It keeps us more closely tied to reality. These are some of my best tips for being a clear, consistent leader and person. If you take action, these will change your mindset and will change the way people see you and react to you. Becoming your best self is a lifelong learning experience, but it starts with self-awareness and a commitment to show up consistently in all of your most important relationships. Why? Because they're always watching you. If you found this advice helpful, please like this video and consider subscribing to this channel. That way I'll see you back here next time for more Coffee with John. If you found this advice helpful, please like this video and consider subscribing to my channel. If you found this video If you found this advice helpful, please consider